Um, that's right. That's our topic today. That was my attention getter for a talk about okay, you know what I'm saying? So I want to talk to you all about this whole, and we've talked about it before, but just to revisit the topic of vocalized pauses is the official term for it, but examples would be things like okay, you know what I'm saying, that's what I'm talking about, word is bond. There are so many different versions of it. Okay, like the teacher on South Park would say, okay. There are so many of these things, and we all have them, and we wouldn't want to not have them. We call those vocalized pauses, and every one of your teachers has it. Every speaker has it occasionally, even professional speakers. So the idea of being an excellent, high-quality public speaker is not to ever say or other vocalized pauses, but rather to reduce the total number of those things. And that reason that we do that is because those vocalized pauses can be distracting for the audience, and they can cause the audience not to enjoy the speech as much or learn as much from the speech. So we're going to reduce them, but we're not going to get rid of them. That's not realistic. And also it would be weird because it's almost natural to say or okay or or other things at some point in the speech. So how do we reduce them? What do we do to make them go away? And there are a number of techniques. The first thing is to be aware that they're there. So just kind of noticing that they're there. That could either be through watching your video back and a video of your speech, self-giving a speech, and seeing them there, or just kind of noticing it while you're speaking, that you're saying them. That's one thing. Just the awareness is the first step. The next thing is to look at your rate of delivery. A lot of times when people are delivering a speech, they're trying to go really fast. And when they're trying to go really fast, they end up running out of the next word because they can't think of it. So to fill in the space, they put or ah, etc. So if you slow down, chances are you'll be able to reduce your total number of vocalized pauses or ums or ahs, etc. So that's a technique that you could use. Another thing is to practice. Now, we've talked earlier about practicing and how that plays a role, but sometimes if you practice your speech more, you know it better, and then when it comes to the next word, you're less likely to fill it in with an and more likely to put in the thing that's there. Think about if you're singing the happy birthday song. How often do you say in the middle of the happy birthday song? Not very often. That's because you know that song very well. You've sung it probably many, many times for people when it's their birthday, I'm guessing. Or if not that song, maybe you don't sing that song, another song. So when we really know something, we don't say as much. But we wouldn't want to eliminate it from your communication entirely. And that's the thing there. Excuse me. So that's another factor, is to practice it. The other thing, the third technique, is to become comfortable with silence. So we tend to think of, when we're talking, we're doing work. We're doing the work of public speakers. And when we're silent, we're slacking. In reality, a good pause, a silent pause, can actually be very effective in a speech and is typically fine. There's no need to fill it with an or an ah or an okay. So just being comfortable with silent parts of the speech, knowing that it's okay to be silent occasionally during your speech. So that's the third technique. Now, the fourth technique is to not beat yourself up if you do say So sometimes people say during their speech, and then they get upset with themselves for saying or ah or whichever vocalized pause it is. And then that stress of being upset with themselves for it causes them to do it more, because it is a sign of stress as well. So those can all be factors as well. And also the last technique is just to allow yourself a certain number of ums per, or okays or whatever, per speech. Know that that's normal to have a few of them. And it's, maybe you won't have any, but allow a certain number as such. And I even had one student, maybe this is extreme, who purposely said at one point in the speech, and even scheduled that in the speech practice to say as a way to make it okay and calm himself down, and then he wouldn't be nervous about a time when he did say or upset with himself for saying So that's my spiel on vocalized pauses, also known as fillers, also known as known as okay, known as word is bond. You know what I'm saying? Hell of this, hell of that. All those things that fill in the spaces. So have fun doing your speeches. And if you say don't beat yourself up. Just try to reduce the total number of them. That's the idea there. And have an amazing speech. Thank you.